The muscle car of Nissan, the one that people fear when they see behind their taillights. The Z represents a lineage of precision and handling with high-power, monstrous, top-speed vehicles. The Fairlady Z would capture the heart of enthusiasts worldwide. Beginning with the 240Z in 1969, the Z line has evolved through various generations, each contributing to its storied legacy. Introduced in 1969, the Datsun 240Z, known as the Fairlady Z in Japan, was a game changer in the sports car market. The 240Z combined sleek styling with the performance and affordability. Powered by a 2.4-liter inline-six engine, it offered a balance of power and handling that rivaled European sports cars at the fraction of the price. The 240Z featured an independent strut front suspension and semi-trailing arm rear suspension, providing a balance between comfort and handling. This setup allowed for responsive steering and a smooth ride, making the 240Z a joy to drive on both highways and winding roads. The 240 success led to the introduction of the 260Z and 280Z in the early 1970s. These models feature larger engines and refinements in design and comfort. The 260Z introduced a 2+2 model with a longer wheelbase, providing additional seating capacity. The 280Z further increased engine displacement to 2.8 liters and introduced fuel injection, enhancing performance and reliability. Both the 260Z and 280Z retained the independent strut front suspension and semi-trailing arm rear suspension. However, the 280Z featured improved shock absorbers and bushings, contributing to a smoother and more controlled ride. The increased engine power in the 280Z also necessitated stronger suspension components to handle the added performance. In 1989, the 300ZX, also known as the Z32, became a technological powerhouse. The new model gained double overhead cams, and a twin-turbo version would also become available. The non-turbo version was more potent than the Z's before, with its 222 horsepower and 198 pound-feet of torque, but this VG motor was also in a heavier vehicle. If you wanted the highest performance version, you would have to get the twin-turbo version that came with 300 horsepower and 280 feet-pound of torque. The Z32 set on multi-link independent suspension at all four corners for the first time, and it was available with four-wheel steering. The 300ZX introduced a multi-link independent suspension at both front and rear, which would significantly improve handling and stability. The addition of four-wheel steering, or known as HICUS, further enhanced maneuverability, allowing the rear wheels to turn in the same or opposite direction as the front wheels, depending on the speed and steering angle. This system reduced turning radius at low speeds and improved high-speed stability. After a hiatus, the Z was revived as the 350Z in 2002. It was a return to basics in many ways. You could only have it with a naturally aspirated engine, which would be the VQ35DE, a 3.5-liter V6, 2 seats, no T-tops, and no four-wheel steering. It didn't mean that the 350Z was slow, though it still made 287 horsepower and 270 feet-pound of torque when it launched. The all-motor VQ35DE would later grow to 306 horsepower and 268 pound-feet of torque. There was also a rare rev-up engine version of the 350Z, which moved the red line from 6,500 RPM that the motor could rev to up to 7,000 RPM, and the rev-up engine produced 297 horsepower. This rare version was available on the manual transmission models of the 350Z from 2005 and 2006 model years, which included the track and 35th anniversary edition models as well. You could also get a Nismo version of the 350Z as well, which is another special model that needs to be noted. This version would come with the same 3.5-liter V6 engine, producing 306 horsepower and 268 pounds of torque, along with performance upgrades like a special tuned suspension, stiffer bushings, and a limited slip differential. This Nismo version also came with larger 15-inch front brakes and 13-inch rear brakes as well. The 350Z would feature a front double wishbone and rear multi-link suspension setup, providing a balance between comfort and performance. With its low center of gravity and wide stance contributing to its agile handling and characteristics. In 2009, the 370Z was introduced, featuring an upgraded 3.7-liter V6 engine producing 332 horsepower. The 370Z would weigh anywhere between 3,200 pounds to 3,400 pounds, with this 6th generation Z featuring a shorter, lower, and slightly wider body made more lightweight with the use of aluminum in hood, hatch, and the doors. The chassis was stiffer to reduce performance loss, and overall, the car weighed 88 pounds less than the previous model. The 370Z retained the front double wishbone and rear multi-link suspension setup, but featured revised geometry and improved components for enhanced performance. A slick feature would be added by Nissan called Synchro Rev Match, in which the computer would rev the motor to match the transmission and motor speeds together. This would allow for seamless downshifts from the 6-speed manual, with improving the driving experience. The car was further refined, as the Z is known to do, offering precise steering and exceptional cornering capabilities. The newest and latest version, which would be the 7th generation Z, also known as the RZ34, or just the Z, was introduced in 2022, marking a return to the Z car lineage's roots. It pulled from multiple Zs from every generation, and this can be noted like the taillights resemble the Z32 from the 90s Zs. The rounded out headlights resemble the rounded headlights from the 240 to 280 Zs in the 70s and 60s. And the twin turbo V6 reminding you of the Z32 twin turbo motor. This 3-liter twin turbo V6 produces 400 horsepower and 350 pounds of torque. It also comes with a 6-speed manual and/or, for the first time, a 9-speed automatic transmission. The RZ34Z features a front double wishbone and rear multi-link suspension similar to its predecessors. The Z lineup has consistently offered performance, style, and driving pleasure, solidifying its place in the automotive history world, gaining the respect of the name Fairlady Z.